Yo guys, what is up? My name is iBigYin, and today I've got a little bit of FIFA gameplay for you in the background in seasons. It's Borussia Dortmund versus Galatasaray. This gameplay did take quite a little bit of time to get together as there was a few issues, i.e. with recording, me scoring in the first five and him leaving, as that's acceptable in seasons, and vice versa. People leaving halfway through games, bad connection issues. There's a lot of issues, and this gameplay took roughly about 2.5 hours to get put together of constantly playing seasons. So anyway, just say you don't need to watch the video here. The video won't have any snippets in it of any ideas that I'm going to put forward, as you'll know now by the title of the video. So you can just tune out, put your iPod, whatever you're listening to on, minimise the window, and you can just listen to the gameplay. Well, not the gameplay, you can listen to me. So without further ado, let's jump into this commentary. Now, I believe the first thing we need to address here is Pro Career Mode. It is absolutely abysmal. There's just no enjoyment in it. So I believe that needs an upgrade straight away. It's kind of pointless because you're giving the players wages in the game mode and you can't do anything with them. So what I'm proposing is you give money value, essentially, in Pro Career Mode. So that being the ability to buy new boots, like from the EA Sports catalogue. If it's integrated into the career mode, you start with very poor boots, and the more money you get, you can buy boots. You can buy boots, and another idea, you could buy supplements, as it's like energy drinks. Before games, if you want a head start or get extra stamina near the end of the game. If you're going at half time, have an energy drink. That'd be you'd get a 10% stamina boost. Hairstyles. If you want to have a haircut in the career mode or change your guy's appearance, etc. Pay fines, I had a little idea. In the old FIFAs, well, not that old, I think it was 2009, FIFA 2009, that you had a reputation. And what would happen is you would go to hospital visits, you would meet fans outside, I think it would be, if after you'd advance from a game, it would be a sub menu, like what happens in the current FIFAs when you get an inbox message. It would be something in that, and it would prompt you to give an answer. Press A for this, press B for that, or whatever. And it would affect your player's reputation. The fans would like you more, the manager would like you more, etc. And so I think that would be quite good to integrate into the game mode for Pro Career if you had a reputation. Because it would just add a little more, excitement to it, giving more interaction. Because in Pro Career mode, it's quite poor. Because I find myself, when I was playing it quite a lot, that I just didn't really want to play it that much. I always wanted to transfer away from the club I was at, and that's another problem. You start at too high an overall. You start like a 65, 66 overall, and you're 16 years old. I mean, it's written in the stars that you're gonna become something big. I'd prefer it if you started from maybe about 50 overall. That seems modest and quite generous. Because it's quite poor. Because not even 3 seasons, 3 transfer windows into my career mode, and I'm playing with Inter Milan. I'm 17 years old. I think I'm 83 overall. That's just ridiculous. There's no fun in that. It's pretty much written that you're going to be the best player in the game, but I don't know who sees it out that much, and there's a goal from Wesley Sneijder. But anyway, that's just my view on the Pro Career mode. I think it's very boring and repetitive. It's just go into a game, play it, come back out, advance, go into a game, play it. It's just kind of boring. I know you do start from a low level where you can actually choose what team you start with. And I think that's quite poor. I prefer, what they do in PES is. I'm sorry if I'm relating to PES quite a bit here, but PES has got a good example. I think what you do now in PES is you play a starter match as 2 unknown teams, I think it is, and then there's scouts at that match from teams, and depending on how you play, that's you'll get offers in from teams to go to them. I think that's how it works in PES now, or how it used to work. But I thought that was quite good, and I think that'd be decent in FIFA. If you started a match with 2 random teams, and it's say it's a bounce fixture, it's a reserve game or whatever, and you get a call up, an unsurprised call up, and depending on how you play, you might get offers in from clubs. So that could be you could integrate that into it also. And we now go on to manager mode in FIFA. This is probably one of my favourite game modes, from years gone by. It has lost its shine a bit, I reckon, right now. They definitely need to do something with it. I know they are doing something with it in FIFA 14. They've changed the whole menu layout, like they did with Ultimate Team this year, and we'll get on to that near the end of the video. But manager mode, again, you need to give money value. You're getting a wage as a manager, yes, but what can you do with it? Absolutely nothing. So what I had an idea was, and there's another topic after this, but you could wage your wage that you get. You could add it up, and you could go and buy clubs, or add it to the transfer budget or wage budget of your current club that you're at. Um, so that meaning, yeah, if you've saved up 100,000 in wage, you could add that to your club's transfer budget, wage budget, and basically just add funds to the club, which could help you. If you're at a lower league club, say Brighton, Brighton, that's Championship. Burton Albion, for example. If I think it's 4,000 wage you start off with default. If you do that for a season and you get promoted to NPL League One, and you've got, say, about 350,000 wage, and you add that to your club budget, that would be quite useful in that, because you're going to be fighting against relegation, that's a given, depending on the squad you'd built up. But it would really help you, that extra 350,000 or whatever amount of money it was you would get from saving up a year's wages. But the other thing I said, you could buy a club. I think this would be a really good feature. And what would happen was, it would just be the accumulation of all your wages. Say you play a career for, say, 11, 12 seasons, and you've saved up quite a lot of wages, say about 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, even maybe more. You could then go and buy a club. I don't know what kind of club you could buy for 5 million, probably about League One, Championship standards. So you could then, the way you further on from pro career, you can retire from that and go on to manager. I'm thinking that after manager, you could go on to be the club owner. And also, on from that, you just need to put reputation in it once again, as we said in pro career. Give it some interaction, with the manager, with the club. You could bond with the club, bond with the players. I think it'd be quite good if you could set up training sessions, which would be quite good. And I think you should have more of a say in your pre-season friendlies. If you want to do a pre-season tour of a certain country, I think that would be quite good. And I think we'll go on to the next topic now. No, wait, well, no, not. One last thing for the manager mode. Fonts on strips. I find this quite annoying. I don't know if it's just me, but when you take, like, say, a club, well, Burton Albion, so we don't fuck it up with Brighton again. Say you take them to the Premiership, European glory, and they've still got the Football League fonts on their shirts. It's quite distinctive. The difference between the Premier League font on the back of the shirts and the Premier League logo on the arm of the strip, and the difference between the Football League, which is on the back of the shirt and on the arm. You just don't feel like a Premier League club when you get to that status. If you've took Burton Albion to the Champions League, you're playing Barcelona, you're playing Lyon, you're playing PSG, you're playing all the top European teams, and they're all sitting there with their big fonts, the league font that they've got, and you're sitting there with the NPL League 2 plastered over your shirt. It just doesn't feel if you're integrating into the Premier League. It's like, oh, you've came from a lower league, we'll just single you out and make you wear the dummy gear, we'll just give you the worst of the gear. So that's how I feel about that. I don't know if it's just me. I've asked some of my friends and they think, just leave it, it's just you. So I think with that we can move on to the next one, which will be career mode as the club owner. Now, what I'm thinking is, you could either take over a club, you can start the game, as you do with manager mode, you can just choose what club you want to take over. Or you could start your own, i.e. with, a creation centre. I think they should make creation centre easier to access for those who don't have a computer like me, because you have to set your club up on the computer. And it's a lot of, I've done it before, but it did take quite a while, and there's a lot of arsing about. My Adobe player, it couldn't display the shirt, and I couldn't really edit people. It didn't really. It wasn't really convenient. I thought it should have been a lot easier to set up. But anyway, back to the boss mode. You could set your budget for your club. If you're the top dog at the club, you could set your budget, employ staff. Just like the way in manager mode where you buy players. In boss mode, you could buy managers. Hire staff essentially. Suggest potential transfer targets. You'd still play the career. You would still play it. But you would just have a higher role. You'd have more of a say. It would be like manager mode and a bit more. It's kind of. I think that would be a good idea. A couple of more things just to add on to it. You could arrange pre-season tours, tournaments, friendlies. You would have a total overview of the club, obviously, as you're the club owner. Um, and what I'm thinking is, you could either, if in real teams, you've got the reserve team, you've got the youth team. I think it would be good. We're getting to that stage in FIFA now where I think we need something like that. A bit more to because you start with your 32-man squad, say, or whatever, and there's people down in the bottom of the team that just don't get a chance. I think it would be better if you could demote them to the reserve team or the youth team, whatever. And vice versa, you could promote players from the youth team or the reserves that are doing really good and demote people from your first team. So that's about everything for the club boss mod. And there's my second goal from Inan. He's a really good player, him. And one other thing I'd like to see added to all modes in FIFA generally, career and ultimate team it mostly applies to, is if you're given a stat about a player or a fact or a bit of information on a player or a manager actually, you should be able to search it. Traits, height, weight, you can't search them, and it's quite, if you're looking for a strong player, you want them to be quite tall as well. They'd be better in the air than somebody that's strong and say 5'9". You're looking for a fast player, they're most likely going to be quite short. Vice versa, if you want somebody that's really tall and fast, they're quite likely to be strong also. I think all facts or stats that you're given about a player or a manager should be searchable. Sorry. One last thing about the career mode. Sorry, I think there should be a sort of match of the day feature integrated into it, and this is really far fetched. This is really into FIFA's future. Maybe about FIFA 18, FIFA 19, FIFA 20 possibly. You should be able to show games that were played. You see in career mode the league, how at the end of the season you see how every team done. Who won the league, who get relegated. But I'd like to see in between. At the end of each week, say on a Sunday night. And in game, obviously, just if you advance from a Sunday, it gives you the option to watch, the week's highlights. I think that would be quite good, but it would be quite a while before we managed to achieve something like that. Coming to the end of the gameplay now, and we're not even onto online modes yet. So let's just get straight into it and crack away. We'll probably just put something at the end of the video, just like a picture or something. I think there was this in FIFA a little while ago, interactive seasons. You could play with friends in a league format, and it's kind of like, I remember having the old WWE games, and there was a roster mode, and you could pick wrestlers. And I think it was SmackDown vs Raw 2008, and you could buy wrestlers, and you could set up pay-per-view events and such. I think I'd quite like that in FIFA. If you play with your friends, it's kind of an online career mode, almost. I think that would be quite decent. Good save by Muslera there. He's one of the most consistent goalkeepers. I'd say probably two of the best consistent goalkeepers here, Weidenfeller and Muslera. So yeah, I think that would be quite good. But the only problem would be all matches would only be able to be played if all the players in the league were online. So that would be the only problem with that. Now to an online mode, which I believe should probably overthrow Ultimate Team, because Ultimate Team now, who actually enjoys it? And just before we get into it, that ball there from Kaya, I think that was going in, and the ref blew for full time. But nonetheless, a 2-0 victory, and that's me into Division 5 now, I think it is. Unfortunately, the YouTube upload limit for me is 15 minutes, so if you want to see a part 2 featuring the online modes, give us a like rating. My name has been iBigYin, and I've got nothing else to say. Cheers!